Welcome to our program Weekly News. We have been recorded the among exclusive news from the whole world during this week. As we know that I'm not alone, I'm always with Islam. He's an expert in an international relationship. And actually by our first title or our first news today, I'd like to ask you, as we know that we like Turkey, the Turkish government and South Korea has a good relationship, and especially that Turkey now is becoming an increasingly popular destination when we talk about touristic place. So do you have some details about it?
Thank you, Miss Aisha, to talk on this prestigious program to make a comment on a very specific issue, what is going on in every week, and it's a really great opportunity for me to give my opinions with you. That's what you were asking the first thing, first news, as we see like the South Korean tourists blocking to visit in Turkey. You know, there is some issue that you already mentioned, like South Korea and Turkey, they have historically they have a very good relations, and Turkey is always try to help to South Korea, even also in the time of war between the two Korean war in 1953. Turkish soldiers were there, and as you see, there was even also one film, on this issue, and so many cultural exchanges between these two countries. Now we are seeing the Turkey making this some good opportunity and good relation to make to build up much more good relation between South Korea. Yes. I want to mention, like you already also said that the Turkish try to make their touristic area much more popular, and as also the Turkish tourism ministry, they said from South Korea in last year there was 59,000 people came to Turkey for touristic purposes, and it was much more this from January to May. Yes. And it was almost as the report said, it's almost 84,000 people. So it shows like the people's increasing. Yes. They come to Turkey much. Yeah, the number is really much more increasing, and they are coming to Turkey, and according to the Turkish ministry, they said it's 40% rise. I mean, the rise level is much more than the previous year. So it shows like to make a relation between the South Korea, it will be also good for Turkish economy and Turkish touristic destination, Turkish touristic places, because these people are coming to Turkey for visiting purposes, and it will also make a much more good relations between these two countries.
Yes, thank you so much.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Still with the Turkish actualities, but now we will talk about political things actually. So as we know, like 3.6 million Syrians leaving Turkey. For this reason, Akbal said that Turkey is among the top performers in eradicating poverty. So what you think about it actually?
Yeah, there is two things, as you said, like 3.6 million Syrian people living in Turkey, and the Turkey is the world's #1 refugee hosting country, and almost 3.9 million according to the United Nations statistics, like refugee people who are living in Turkey. On the other hand, more than 4 million people without registered. It's in some sources they said almost 5 million people who are living in Turkey. But this thing shows like still there is a lot of people who are living in Turkey, but the report shows the eradicating poverty, Turkey is also the top level. There is so many countries, for example like China, they are also the top level to eradicate their poverty. And also the Turkey also, there is some goal in United Nations, like a sustainable development goals, SDG, and there is some indicators, almost 30 indicators in that goal, and on these indicators Turkey almost fill up every category, every indicators, these 30 indicators. Turkey, as you see, this Turkey is a policy, I mean their economic policy, their government policy, their almost every policy to eradicate the unemployment from Turkey, then to eradicate the poverty, even to make a security for Turkey, and also educate their society, I mean educated in youth, and also that they are looking to the youth, health and house system. The Turkish even social security security system is also very high level. So the overall package, it shows like the Turkey is really top level countries who are working to eradicate the poverty, and that's what the Turkish part they say to the United Nations. Who are dealing with the SDG, there's a Turkey is a top level countries who are really eradicating poverty, and they are successful to make and to eradicate the poverty.
Yes, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Actually, my second question for you about our next article, it's about Sudan. So Sudan military, you know that since transition deal, it's already deal. But do you think that is it the best solution now?
You know this, as we talk so many weeks about this issue,
Yes.
because the Sudan's crisis,
Yes.
Algerian crisis, even the previously in the time of Arab Spring, like
Yes.
Tunisian crisis, Egyptian crisis, the whole kind of things in Middle East and North Africa, MENA region, it gives us some suggestion, it gives us some things that we, the whatever it's politicians, military or civilians, they think about this, you know, like if civilian think that okay, we can capture the power by protesting, it will be also wrong. If the military think they can kill to the people and capture the power, it's also wrong. And also like if there is also third party came to this, like any kind of help or any kind of intervention from third party like international actors, it will be also wrong for the national security of any country like Sudan or Algeria, whatever it is.
Yes.
So the issue is what will be the best solution. The thing, you know, if we learn something from Egypt or if we learn something from Tunisia, it shows us like that there should to be some negotiation.
Yes.
There should have some kind of dialogue.
Yes, like make international dialogue as we see in Tunis, as we see especially in Algeria. I think that they make maybe twice or the two meeting is the dialogue international. They defend their rights about, so you know.
That's the issue, you know. So this is the, you know, there is a one very good proverb in Africa and also in so many countries. Yes. Something is better than nothing. Yes. You know,
but
like
sorry, I cut your. So I think that they Sudan now they suffering or it's shortage or lack of democracy now. For this reason, you feel like the people they don't have a choice.
Even also if they have also the democracy, but yeah, I agree with you 100%. You know, this the first thing in Sudan. Just imagine like that the previous leader, he was 30 years in power. The people's, you know, democracy is not something like only civilians come to the power and do everything. It's not something like this. We saw this, a democratic government came to the power in Egypt, but what we saw, again the people, the one part of the people, they say it like in a democratic way, they are against the democratic elected president. I mean, this one part they are against again to come to the street and goes to when against their democratically elected leader. I mean, yes. I'm talking about Mohamed Morsi, and so it shows actually this people in MENA region, I mean Middle East and North African region, the problem of them actually. The democracy, it's the one kind of, you know, learning process. I mean, the people should learn about it. People should know about this, what actually mean of democracy. Democracy doesn't mean the civilian only go to the power and civilian will control to the power. You know, it's something like beyond this. The peoples also needs to understand as what's actually they will have. What does mean the democracy? What does mean the freedom? What is the means of this, you know, the freedom of express, freedom of assembly? What does it mean? The full package of democracy. They should understand about this. So that's the issue. That's the we are seeing lack of the Middle East countries and Middle East and North African countries. The people, they are protesting. The peoples are trying to make us a democratic countries, but when they come to the power, but we saw these things is not actually exist what we expect before. The people cannot continue their, you know, legitimate government, even also they take to the power. So that's things what is happening in Egypt is in Sudan. I'm sorry, in Sudan, like it's a really good example. Like there should have some transition point, and in this transition point, there's people of the civilian, of Sudan, they will learn something like how they will they want to see their country, how they will continue their country's power, how they want to continue their country's legitimized forces, whatever it is, security forces, military forces, police forces, whatever it is, how they want to do their international relations and international foreign affairs things, foreign policy with other countries. Because just imagine, like when the civilian government will come, all kind of policy will be changed. Whatever it is, foreign policy or whatever it is, domestic policy, everything will be changed. So it is very good things, like there should have some transition point, there should have some dialogue and negotiation between the military interim, the party. That's what they said, this there is a two kind of group, and in there in transitional group, one is like there's a transitional military council, and another is the forces for freedom and change, from civilian part. So between these two parties, they should have some understanding, because the misunderstanding ultimately it will be harmful for their national interest, for their nation, for their national economy. So these two parties, when they will come to the transition point, to come to the negotiation, to come to the some dialogue, to make a decision that what will be the future for their country, it will be best solution for their country. But it is true, we believe the civilian is the power, people's is power. So when people will make some decision, rather than the military or so-called military or security forces, it will be the more sustainable decision. So of course, from our side, we expect the civilian will get the power, and civilian politics will be sustained in Sudan or Algeria or Egypt or whatever it is a country. But the factual fact is there should have some transition point. The people should learn about this. People should know and should to be more cautious and aware and concerned about the democracy and democratic process.
Yes.
That's what I want to mention.
Yes, thank you so much. Actually, we put the accent on this title. It's extremely exclusive. 40 hospitals in Afghanistan are closed. So do you have some details about it, and what are the causes, and how does it affect other people, especially when we talk about the service sector?
Thank you so much. The 40 hospitals which are closed in Afghanistan. It was closed by the Taliban. The Taliban is one of the extremist group in Afghanistan, and they are capturing the 60% is still for so many areas of Afghanistan. Though we know that there is some democratic governments who are control the Afghanistan, but unfortunately still the 60% of the area of Afghanistan controlled by the Taliban. And we saw that there some priority hospitals, especially related with humanitarian activities, some charity activities, they close it. So the things actually is it's totally unexpected, but it's true, like it is happening in Afghanistan. As I talk, so many experts and so many academicians from Afghanistan, even also so many civilians, students who are living in this country, even in abroad, as I met with them, they try to mention this, what Afghanistan is doing in their country. What Taliban is doing in Afghanistan is absolutely actually destroy their country's hope for the future. Because these people, they don't understand what's the importance of hospitals. Because to them they give some kind of how we can say the announcement or statement, like, okay, these hospitals are did by some maybe foreign countries or maybe Western countries, okay, then don't close it. But the fact is, there is some political problem, political issue, and political conspiracy, and health things is totally different things. Health is compulsory fact for every people, even including Taliban. They will be benefited by this way, by the hospitals, by the schools, by the charity organization. But unfortunately, they are closing this, and they are not actually harming the Afghanistani other people. They are also harming to them. Then, so because when they close the hospitals, then if they are also ill, then where they will go? For their own, illness or sickness. But unfortunately, it is happening in there, and it's totally unfortunate. And even also, I feel like this. We are very unhappy like to see this kind of news is coming from Afghanistan, and this Taliban is still is exist, and they're very strong group, and they are doing this such kind of activities. It's totally unacceptable. That's what I can say.
Thank you so much. Dealing with the international relationship actualities, especially when we talk about Iran and America. So why the Iran nuclear deal make the tension increasing more and more?
This the foreign secretary, like the Jeremy Hunt, he actually talked about this issue, this Iranian nuclear deal, about this issue, like how they can tackle about this, the fact, because Iran said they will again increase their nuclear equipment, nuclear issues to make it, more powerful energy. And this even also we saw this how the US are reacting to Iran, even what US and European Union make a negotiation and make a agreement.
And don't forget, don't forget that France intervened to make this intention more and more calm. But I think the last meeting, it doesn't work.
Unfortunately, it will not even also work, because the fact is it's not about French or European Union, it's about USA. Because like USA, they took the decision. They minimize the sanction, what was the continuously happening since you can say the 20 years, but now it's by the name of nuclear bomb or the so-called issues. But the issue we saw, like after the Iranian revolution in 1979 till now, there was somehow that there was a sanction by USA on Iran. Or Iranian regime. By the way, there is one hand, it's true in politically, if we think there will be maybe some legitimate issue, because the USA say like they are doing it because of for the Iranian people, who want freedom, who want more democracy in their land. But on the other hand, it's about something like other countries is interfering the Iranian national politics, Iranian national sovereignty. So these two things actually what we are seeing, and what we are seeing that this couple of months, like USA, they withdraw their deal, their agreement with Iran, with also European Union. Last year they make some agreement like, okay, that's there will be some minimizing the sanction. That's what they are on Iran. But unfortunately, we again see this is not working, because like USA said, like they will not continue this kind of minimizing the sanction. They will make more sanction on them, and whoever make an economic relation with Iran, they will also be very hard to them, whatever it is, European Union countries or other countries. But we are seeing this Iran also tell like, okay, we are making negotiation, not only we are making agreement not only with USA, we are making negotiation also with European Union, like French or England or Germany or those countries. So like it is not actually good things, like whatever USA taking decision and you will say yes. No, it's not a good decision. You have to be clear about this. But when they saw like there is nothing actually, there is no hope actually for to continue the decision, then they say like, okay, don't care about the sanction, we will increase our more energy, more nuclear things for our nuclear equipments, nuclear energy. And this in one extent, some literature said like this way, some newspaper news said this, it can make nuclear bomb. So that's why the European Union is still thinking like what will be their decision, and they try to make come, as you said, the French try to make it come, but it's not working, unfortunately.
Yes, thank you so much. As we seeing now behind me, painful picture actually about the poverty and the causes of the poverty. What are the causes of multi-dimensional poor, and do you think that the government has a plan for avoiding this social phenomena?
Thank you so much. As we saw about, as we are seeing about this news, it shows to us like about Ethiopia. There's the poverty rate and poverty rise up in Ethiopia, and even also the out of 90% of poverty area, poverty based people or face people, 10% they are children. So it's very much unacceptable and very much sad things, like how the children are affected by them, because if the children are living in a poverty life, they cannot go to the school, and when they are not going to school, their education, their future will be destroyed. And that's the things actually we are seeing in Ethiopia. 90% and more children are multidimensional, poor. I mean, that's what the report shows to us, like the Ethiopian current condition. And out of this 90%, how the 10% children are affected by this poverty.
Yes, thank you so much. Continues with Gaza actuality now, especially we will talk about the situation recently. So as Gaza anti-occupation rallies continue is in buffer zone. How is the situation in Gaza recently?
As we talked even also yesterday on commentary session about this the situation of Palestine, how it's affected by Israel,
Yes.
Those issues, it shows us like whatever it is, West Bank, Ramallah, or Gaza, the situation is almost same. But the issue is the one of the most, worst level situation is the Gaza people, because the Gaza is totally occupied. From all of the part is occupied by the Israel. And this is the one of the place, this Khan Yunus is one of the we can say this like place between the Gaza. It's a totally occupied, by the Israel, and they according to some international statement said buffer zone. But this buffer zone status, when any kind of place is getting buffer zone status, it means these status people or this place and people can protest or people can say their opinion. But unfortunately, when Palestinian people or Gaza people went to that land or this kind of land, Israeli security forces again killing to the people. So the whole situation is very unfortunate, and we are seeing that still people are injured, and more than thousands people are injured by this Israeli security forces. And this is the one of the example. That's what we are seeing in this week.
Yes, thank you so much. As we know, during all this week, actually, we have been recording a lot of manifestation, a lot of political problem in Hong Kong during, I think, that 1 month. So, Hong Kong protesters, the tension in Hong Kong now, it's really increasing more and more. So, do you think that the government has a plan for satisfying the people there or not?
Again, this crisis and instability, this
since
Hong
month,
Kong,
I think. Yes.
and since it's almost more than 1 month,
Yes.
so it's still ongoing process. The Hong Kong's people, the general civilians, they are against the law. What is supported by China? I want to mention about the China and Hong Kong relation. The Hong Kong and China, it's said like that the one countries but two policies. This is very much important to understand the Hong Kong crisis, because the one country two system, it means the China, they have a communist system. That's what the Communist Party is governing China, and their whole system is according to communist, especially the political system. But in Hong Kong, they are trying to rule their government as like a good democratic system. But this is also true. Hong Kong is under China. Before the independence, Chinese independence, it was under the British. But when British went from this land, the Hong Kong, it went under Hong Kong. So it was under China. So the whole scenario, it shows like when Hong Kong makes some bill, it said about extradition bill, and this according to this bill, Hong Kong can send any people to China who have espionage, or maybe in whom China thinks that these people are against the Chinese security, against the Chinese intelligence and against the Chinese law, then they can take them from Hong Kong and they can extradite them from Hong Kong to China. Yes. And that's why peoples are totally against it, because I want to mention, so many peoples who are against the communist system, they are living in Hong Kong. So now when this kind of law is established, when this kind of law is already realized, it means China can take whoever they want, from Hong Kong. They can take them and they can send them to their land, China, from Hong Kong to China. So this is the reason, there's a million people are now in street and protesting against this law. And even I want to mention the current president of Hong Kong, he has tried to make so many times, resign from his power. But China said, okay, no, don't resign, just make a power. We can control it. But unfortunately, we are seeing that still you see there's a number of people, I mean huge number, millions people are now in street, and they are against this law bill. And if we see from the democratic side, these things, I mean they have really rights to do this kind of protest precision against the government, what the Hong Kong government take. But on other hand, if we see like okay, what the China says about the security and it's about the national law, then yeah, China or the Hong Kong, they can do that, take this kind of law.
Yes, great, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Continues with the international relationship actualities. It's an exclusive headline actually when we talk about Washington excludes Turkey. So about about the program F-35, what are the causes for these refugees, especially when the government of America, they said it's unfair. So what does it mean?
Thank you, Aisha. As we saw, like Washington, they excludes Turkey to make a done deal F-35. As we talked yesterday about this issue, this F-35 issue, and how the F-35 steals this airplane, the military airplane that US, they say like they will not sell it to Turkey now because they bought S-400 from Russia. So like Turkey is telling again and again, and from previous time to now, like it's a totally unfair what Washington is doing with Turkey. What America and US are doing with Turkey is totally unfair, it's totally unacceptable. But it's happening because they already cancelled the deal. After USA. And the issue, this even we talk yesterday, like the Turkey, they sent military staff to USA to learn about the F-35. Even as I mentioned yesterday, like the so many equipments of F-35 military jet is producing in Turkey. Even it's a one kind of joint project between the Turkey and the USA. So now what is happening is totally against the some kind of we can say the international agreement. There is some law, some rules like in international agreements according based on the international law. But when it comes to some superpower and powerful countries, they don't care about this if it goes their national interest. Like when we talk about the Iran recently, about the Iranian nuclear deal, like for the USA, they doesn't care about this, but they did this deal, they did this agreement. Now it also we are also seeing that the same thing happening with USA and Turkey. They did the agreement between Turkey, they will sell F-35 to Turkey, but when Turkey make another agreement with Russia, now they are saying that we will not sell to EU. But it was a done deal. So those international politics and those kind of international issue, it makes actually a much more mistrustable relation between countries. Whatever it is Turkey, US, or whatever it is Turkey to other countries or USA to other countries. Especially to USA, they have some responsibility because they have some powerful positions from United Nations to any kind of national level. Every country, they care actually them. But now if they make this kind of things, it will lose their international responsible position. And this in international politics, there is a very good terminology to make a world more sustainable. That's what's the unipolarism and also bipolarism. So now the world is going in some area, in some indicator. In that way, if USA cannot protect, that's what they get by, as we can say, the responsibility, then the world will goes to more unpredictable future. And in that future, we will see the more crisis, more instability, and more problem. So as I expect, and I think there's so many people, scholars or politicians, leaders expect like USA should do their responsibility, what they gained from last couple of decades, they gained it. So they should apply their responsibility. They should not do something irresponsible, what will happen or what will make war and more crisis to the world politics and to the world economy.
Thank you for being with us, Islam. Thank you for all the details that you give it to us. Like that, we make all the actualities more and more clear. Thank you for your attention and thank you for following us. We present today a lot of actualities, economic, politic, and diplomatic relationship. Follow us always on Natural TV, Ankara, Turkey, for more and more details. Thank you so much.